to successfully bury someone in Kenya, you need like $40,000.
No. When
okay, let's call it even 30. Let's call it 30.
Okay, 30. Yes.
Okay, you need $30,000.
Yes.
So hii mchango, mostly it's an African thing, you know, like, and I think even mostly an East African thing. And I'll tell you this: most Americans can't afford to pay $25,000-$30,000 to bury someone, you know, because the cost has been increasing over the years. Now the traditional 20K that people used to raise is no longer enough. Yeah.
But you see, with what Mika was saying, I'll tell you, sometimes burying here, it depends. There are a lot of
burying here is expensive.
It's expensive. Like there are very many, and I'm speaking from experience. Like there are very many tangibles because a certain burial site.
Is it cheaper to bury home? That's a question.
Yes.
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 It's still cheaper.
So
to
let me get it this way. So kawaida hizi michango za burials, they usually have targets of $30,000, $40,000.
And I'll tell you why.
So then that's why I'm asking. I'm not asking about. I'm not talking about the cost of putting the body in the ground.
No.
I'm just talking about the process of someone has died here.
Yes.
To burying him in Kenya. So people wanachanga $30,000-$40,000. So do you wanna tell me that the cost of burying someone here in the US is more than $30,000-$40,000?
Let me break it down. The 30,000-40,000, usually I'll give you like there's a certain place that shipping the body to Kenya using
KLM.
No. I'm gonna talk about
an airline.
No. I'm gonna talk about a facility that is used primarily in Baltimore.
Yeah.
It's between 12 to 15K shipping.
Yeah.
Just getting it to JKIA.
Shipping. But these guys coordinate because
But that's inclusive of the coffin, blah,
that's
blah, blah, all of that.
That's everything. The body, the mwili, embalming, everything.
Yeah.
And packaging
Baka
and
leave
whatnot.
funeral home.
And that's the same coffin
And
that the
then-
body will be buried in Kenya.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then and
See
it's-
ile yako travel package.
No.
Okay,
And
it's
all
the
the way
same
to Lee Funeral because those guys have an agreement.
They have
over
a
there.
link. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
These additional costs are to one, depending on the family that is flying.
Yeah.
So there's that. Let us support the fambo to fly.
Yeah.
So if it's a guy who has got, if it's somebody who has arrested,
So it's a family of four.
four.
So one has arrested.
So that's two.
So that's 8K.
10K.
8.
Yeah.
8
Yeah.
to 10.
Then on the other side, we want to
fikisha the body
alleviate
from Nairobi
to whatever you want to alleviate, plus provide like what Mika was saying, I think, you know, like, okay, you know what, anakuja unapatia kachai kasoda whatever. There's also a cost now to even streaming.
So a lot of
So-
the costs
so when you look-
are born from here.
Most of the costs are born from here.
So my question is,
Yes.
to successfully bury someone in Kenya, you
Yes.
need like $40,000.
No. When you
Okay,
say
let's
40,
call it even 30. Let's call it 30.
Okay, 30. Yes.
Okay, you need $30,000.
Other
So-
than the mom.
So
30 is more bad.
so-
No, I'm just giving that.
But
I think that's a fair price.
me, I'm going by the targets because
Yes.
I remember I'm also added to this group.
Because
So your target.
kumbuka hizi
yeah.
targets.
Yeah.
Kumbuka hizi targets vile umeambiwa, right?
They're not. Yeah.
Vile Meka amekwambia. Kumbuka hii target, kumbuka wase wengi hapa sisi hatuna resources home, right? So mkinipeleka kunizika na sina hao home. Wife na watoi labda mtotafutia place ya kukaa.
Okay, fair enough.
Unaona, like kuna expenses zingine mob zenye zoka zinatokea.
So here's my question, Mika.
Zinatokea ndogo and okay fine. Tuseme tukio 30,000. Tukio 30,000. Tuseme ni 30,000. Alafu kuja tupige hesabu ya huku, si ndio?
How much?
Hesabu ya huku
Yeah.
kitu moja kubuy plot ya kuzikwa uko between 15 na 20. Hiyo ni
15
plot tu.
15 what? 15K
1,000.
15,000.
It's not
$15,000.
$15.
Yeah.
$15,000
Yes.
kubuy
Yeah.
plot ya kuzika.
Between 15 and 20.
And also
yeah,
depends on the
kuzika.
place.
It
depends on the
pale
place.
unazika.
Because there's some places where you can get maybe 8K, but they're giving you a package.
So mi nauliza swali hapa.
Alafu
Wacha
kumbuka-
tusikize swali
Yeah.
yangu msee.
Because swali yangu
kumbuka li
yeah.
bado tukikuzika vile uno amesema unapoa package. Tukichukua the cheapest package itakuwa nika tumekutupa. Tumeleka kuweka ukeka tu mahali kwa mchanga kuna mtu anajua pale kuomekwa. Lakini
And the package includes the casket.
Yeah, tunataka uzikwe
Alafu
vizuri.
casket, there are levels of caskets.
Yeah,
So-
tunataka uzikwe vizuri.
Yeah.
Tunataka ukuwe na headstone. Sasa headstone ukuwe pia ni hiyo nini 8 to 10,000 kuitengeneza tu. Hiyo weka hapo juu. So tunataka watu wako juu hapa ndo palialia zikwa.
Okay. Let me
kuja kwa kama huu hapo na kwa kila kitu. Like basically
let me simplify this question.
Unaona taritao ya Kenya? Hiyo taritao ya Kenya inaenda na kuzika na hizi vitu zote unapata hapa Amerika.
But let me
Plus
simplify my question maybe. Let me simplify my question. Most Americans can't afford because people die in America every day. And I'll tell you this, most Americans can't afford to pay $25,000-$30,000 to bury someone. So and people get buried. People get buried every day in America. And I think we have, like an expert within the community who owns a funeral home. And I think one day we're going to bring her here to make people understand. Because I think the question I'm asking is a very basic question. You can have, you have options. You can have a lavish funeral. So kuna first class, kuna business class, na kuna economy class.
Yes.
Ya mazishi.
Yes.
So you have those options.
Yes.
Na watu wa America wanazikwa kila siku because remember hii mchango mostly it's an African thing, like, and I think even mostly an East African thing. Americans wa hawana hiyo nini.
No, wanachanganga.
Wanachanga.
Wanachanga internally within the family. Within the family.
You're not
so
gonna
watu
be
wanatoa credit
you're not
card,
gonna be added to a random.
Unaeka 5K, unaeka 5K, unaeka 5K, wana nini.
So Mosh, you're not gonna be added to a random this Kenyan thing is so unique.
It is a Harambee mentality.
Even other Africans sometimes.
It's a Harambee mentality. Yes.
Even other Africans sometimes.
West Africans do it.
Ngoja Mika. I want you guys to pay attention.
We are here.
To what
Paying
I'm saying.
attention, yes.
So people get buried every day. Kwa hivyo inamaanisha ukitaka unaweza pata mazishi ya 30K na ukitaka unaweza pata mazishi ya 7K. Have I true or false?
7K sijawahi ona.
7K
Sijawahi ona 7K
Where?
in America. Sijawahi ona.
So hujawahi ona ama
Hakuna.
Because you see,
Hakuna ya 7K.
I'm gonna challenge.
Hakuna ya 7K. Weka hapo kwa group. Hakuna ya 7K in America.
Please
Hakuna.
do some research.
Hakuna.
Let me know because
ushaenda mazishi hiyo 7K. Mimi nishaenda mazishi hizo cheap huko Amerika.
hiyo chip ni how much? What's the number?
It's above 10.
Mimi sijui ilikuwa how much,
It's
but
above 10.
Yeah.
nakwambia ilikuwa mazishi
It's
hizo.
above
mazishi
10.
hizo-
I can
hizo
tell you
za-
that for free.
ilikuwa ile mazishi ya like mtu amefosiwa funeral onto them. Tulikuwa na dunia job, yani mpaka hata ana watu wakatuambia tu job tuende. Right? That shit is so sad.
So what is sad?
The way even those people, how they just handle the body and how they're putting it to you, and like
Okay.
ile nika kutupa mtu like literally hiyo inakuanga ile like inakuanga ile mnatupa msene imeenda imeisha. Ukiangalia watu wengi America, most funeral homes have learned how to tap into life insurance za watu wenye wamekufa kufund funerals.
Yeah.
Ama watu chuka burial insurance.
Yeah. So what I know, and this is based on the cost of burying a Muslim here in the US. And maybe that's the reason why, like I'm talking maybe also from a point of no information. So
thank you.
So an expensive because with Waislamu there's different factors that come in, because burying someone is referred to as Farad Kifaya. Farad Kifaya is an obligatory act that is an obligation on the community. Not, you see, like your daily prayer, it's individual obligation. But burial, it's an obligation on the community, meaning if there's someone in the community who has died, and ajazikwa, so the whole community
chips in
is liable.
Sure. Okay.
Is liable for that.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you genuinely cannot afford you will either pay a very small amount, or you will be someone will foot that bill. There's something called a janaza fund, and in fact, one of the things that they're trying to work on is to have like land and endowments to allow when a Muslim dies, they're just buried without having to pay anything. So different communities are working on that. But right now, as a discussion was being discussed in the mosque recently, they were saying it could cost up to 6,000 kuzika Muislamu, and they were saying that's very expensive. That's a very expensive.
Consider this. No, I'm saying, because listen, Ali.
Yeah.
I want you to non-Muslims, let's say Christians. Forget the Hindus and whatever else. Christians here. First, Geneza. And there are variations. Just like you've got economy, business class, kuna first class, kuna whatever, kuna career.
Let me try to understand.
Casket.
By the way,
casket.
Huku kwanza is huku expert kushinda zetu.
Yes.
So let me try to understand.
Very expert.
But let me try to understand something, Mika. Let's say your casket.
Yes.
Economy class. What's wrong with it?
There's nothing wrong. No. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. It's the options that you're being given.
Umeona kitu Esther amekwambia. Esther amesema nini? Esther amekwambia, whenever kusema like death inakuanga na consider like your most important passage, right? If you've ever noticed, everybody tries to give the departed the best sending off. Hautasikia unaongea mbaya juu ya marehemu. Watajaribu kumzika with the best ceremony they can ever do. And there's always a celebration of his life or her life afterwards, right? Because people at that point wanganikuwa na kwamba this is their last hurrah ya kukutuma uende mbinguni. Hii yao ndio inakwambia amusha kukupatia ile gas. Kama like itajaribu uenda pale pazuri. So I don't know if it's a Christian thing ama ni kitu tumezoea maneno. We try to send off our loved one with the best.
We do.
Utapata huyu jamaa kukuwa na pesa ya kwenda hospitali.
The bigger the better.
Yeah. So let me try to understand what's a reasonable funeral here in the US, a reasonable one. How much is it gonna cost? A reasonable one. Let me not call it. Let's not call it economy.
Reasonable,
and let's not go first class.
I would probably venture to say anywhere between 18 to 20,000.
Yes.
God damn.
Yes.
Because remember, that's reasonable.
There's the casket, and there is the plot where you're being buried.
Two different.
That one can cost from anything from 5,000 to 12,000.
Wow.
Depending on the place and the location.
Yeah, you
and we're talking about
for the services.
Like I'm talking about.
So your service pia unalipia.
Yeah.
Yes.
You pay. Yeah.
So it's a charge.
Kama imekuorganizia ka service mahali utalipia.
Yes. Yeah. And by the way, that is separate from where you're being buried.
Yeah.
Hiyo ni cost kando.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where you're being buried is a totally different cost.
Unalipia kale ka limousine kana kuzungushanga hapo raundi yako ya mwisho. Bebona limo maisha yako yote lakini ukideni na bebona limo.
Okay. It's a totally different cost.
Yeah.
So before you start throwing scards, before you start throwing scards,
I'm learning.
Before you start throwing scards,
no, I'm not throwing scards. I'm learning.
Yes,
before
you start throwing mishales,
no, because
I'm telling you. Yeah. So it is different. So where you're being buried is totally different from where
You know what?
the funeral home and where your service is being held. Because remember, you could have, yeah.
Uno, I've remembered something. Ali, let me jog your memory. We had this conversation, same conversation. You were on our side of the aisle. It was either back in 2013, 14, 15.
Yeah.
And you actually did research and broke down how funeral home attendants are trained to ask interviews.
Yes, I remember that.
And you actually broke down how expensive a funeral is and how they sell you up. And they ask you, the first question they ask you, how much is your
budget?
Is your life insurance? No, how much
life
is
insurance? Yeah,
correct.
Yes. And then they start selling you budgets based on that life insurance.
Yes, and I remember there was this.
So now,
So
now you understand when you tell you this is a business and how it how it becomes expensive with you. So even the packages that they offer, then the ones that economy package is not a cheap. Like it's not what.
And then it's not like it really exists so that you
it
go
really
for it.
It.
Ni kama ile wanakuonyesha iko lakini hata watakwambia boss.
I can tell you for free. There are budgets. There are if you want this package, this comes with this. The casket is this much, is whatever, it's this color, it's this size. No, it's this CG mix, CG whatever. Boss, there are caskets that are even worth $100,000.
So
it is in a gold.
So if
bro, there are caskets worth $100,000.
Ile pale palbearers wanashika
so nikikamna budget
mama ni titanium, alafu ukiangalia casket yenyewe ni ivory, imekuwa ivory huko juu, ina gold trimmings, ndani ni velvet.
Yes.
So nikikamna budget ya 3K. Nikikamna budget ya 3K nitafukuzwa.
Boss.
Hiyo ni suti.
Kufukuzwa.
Hiyo ni suti.
Hiyo ndio ujui.
3K ni suti.
No, what if nikisema naweza kubai suti yangu KNG?
Ni sawa. No. Ni sawa, unaweza kuja nayo.
Ya 99.99.
No, ni sawa, unaweza kuja nayo, no problem.
Mbona mnadanganya mzee? Mbona mnadanganya mzee? 3K tutakuchoma. 3K tena tukichoma kwa ile base ya kukuchoma tutakuchoma na wanichwani.
And by the way,
you're
coming with 3K yet a Muslim burial is 6K.
No, a Muslim burial is
an expensive
6K
one.
because
an expensive one.
Yes.
Part of that fund goes to something called the Janaza Fund. So the
so
Janaza Fund is supplementing others who cannot afford, because kuna ule mwenye atazikwa bila kulipa anything.
Now let me tell you, that is why something like cremation, that's why like in the Christian world, funerals, and you follow scripture, you if you follow the motaratara, not forget scripture, but what practicing Christians do. I'm gonna say the Pentecostal, evangelical, those guys. I'm not gonna say Catholic, but these are the guys over here on this other side. Uko, it is business in, business out. Pesa in, pesa out.
What do you mean by
money? It's money,
out?
like because you're being sold stuff, because you want to give you want to give your loved one the best send off. So they have packages, and they will always have packages, and the packages are in terms of suit, in terms of the career, the casket, and whatever. Unabebwa na limo and everything. This is aside from
unabebwa na farasi,
ukitaka
chariot.
And this is not where you're being buried.
Wow.
Where you're being buried is a different cost. We are talking about depending even on the location. So if you're in Germantown vis-a-vis Colombia, different price. And even in Colombia, some of the places themselves are going to have
Colombia
different
and
prices.
Awati.
What about these churches that I've seen that have grave? And you can see
no,
like,
the graveyards. Those are the full. Those guys are. Go look at those things. I think they stopped burning in 1970.
Unajua kitambo, what it was is, you know what most people don't realize is that American is just villages. Like it was villages. They make a cul-de-sac, a few houses, alafu kulikuwa na kachurch na hiyo burial. So ilikuwa watu wa hiyo neighborhood
wanazikwa.
Hiyo ndo nini yao. Alafu ikajaa. Like ilijaa generation ya kwanza wakazijaza. So zimebaki hivyo, like they are historical. Hizi zibomoa zimebaki hivyo.
So
but another thing that you have to realize, Ali, is Google a funeral home and then Google how far you find a crematorium from it. Haikuangi mbali. Hiyo inakwanga ya wale watu wameenda ka funeral home wako na packages wakashindwa bei.
Wanaenda crematorium.
Ukigoogle cheapest funeral home itakuletea crematorium yenye kwamba karibu at least upate bei. And do you know crematorium is a very good business? Because what
the business of death.
Yes, so it's a business of death. So that's what I was saying. It is even on a minimum. You can find that when you're looking at even burying here, you're trying to cut costs. You know, like how sometimes ulikuwa natupatia we are going for rugby in Vegas. Alafu unajaribu kutupatia costs, cutting costs and everything.
Cost-cutting measures.
They are the same even in that world. In that world.